Hello, hello, and welcome to Comic Book Nation's bonus episode on Doctor Who, the 60th anniversary special. I am so excited. My name is Janelle. I think you guys already know me, but more importantly, we are joined by Matthew Aguilar.
What's up, everybody?
And we have our resident Comicbook.com expert on Doctor Who. This is Jamie Lovett.
Hey, guys.
I am so glad you guys have joined for today. I'm about to geek out. I'm wearing my Doctor Who shirt. Yes, I had this for years before any announcement of David Tennant coming back. So he's my favorite.
The credit's there. The credit.
Yeah. I'm already a super fan. Although I really feel bad. I feel bad for Martha. So we'll just kind of like. Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about the lovely Disney Plus 3 episodes that they launched. This was quite a crazy drop when it first was announced because they brought back a very special doctor. I do need to say this right up front. If you don't know a lot about Doctor Who and you do plan on watching this, as River Song would say, spoilers. There's going to be a lot of spoilers in today's chat. So make sure you pause and come back or just mute us and look at our beautiful faces and then watch the episodes, come back, enjoy this breakdown with us. But we're going to kick it off with obviously like initial gut reactions. I would love to hear what you guys think. And let's start with our guest, Jamie.
I love these. There is so like any one of these. God bless Jodie Whittaker because she tried, but the last few years of Doctor Who have been very like sleepy is how I would describe them. It just didn't have the same energy as the past few seasons. And any one of these specials had like 3 seasons worth of energy in them. They were just wild. There were surprises and weirdness in every single one of them. I can't believe Disney is letting Russell T Davies do with their money some of the things he's doing in these, especially that second episode with just stretchy face David Tennant and stuff. I love these. They were so much fun, and they each one left me excited to see what the next one was, and that includes the last one. I can't wait for the Christmas special now.
Yes, awesome. I mean, I totally agree. I'm very, very pumped about all 3 episodes. I will say this for my initial reaction, then we're going to throw it to you, Matt. Because we have been so immersed in our like MCU stuff, I've done a whole entire MCU watch through again, as well as like obviously really, really invested in our DC content on the main show, Comic Book Nation. I kind of forgot what Doctor Who was about. Like there was a little stretch there, and I was so into Loki that when I watched this, I was kind of like, oh wow, this is Doctor Who. Like this is, and so the first episode for me felt a little flat because I was watching Loki and that's what I came off of. And my expectations are so high with Doctor Who because it is my favorite show of all time. So I'm so glad that I got back into, the groove of it, which I feel like that's all you can really expect. I mean, he gets 3 episodes to be the Doctor again. Donna gets 3 episodes to be the companion again. And we're introduced to new characters. It's a lot over a small amount of time, and you have to fall in love with it and be really into it. So yeah, I will say overall, really awesome. But the first episode for me was a little weak. What did you think, Matt?
Well, so I am very much the newbie, or I guess I should say returning. I'm the returning Whovian amongst this trio because it's been really since the show made its initial return. And we'll get into favorite doctors and stuff a little bit later, but like it's been since then since I've watched actually like faithfully. Like I've checked in, I watch episodes here and there, get a sense of the new Doctor, and then kind of form an opinion, and then maybe come back for a few more. Tennant's actually the one I'm most familiar with outside of that initial return, so this was actually like kind of perfect for me because I had touchstones, and so I actually coming back was really fun. I actually it was just, I don't know, it was kind of that warm, cozy feeling, we talk about all the time. And this was the kind of insane stuff that I enjoy about this series. It's there's just no one does this kind of eccentric like over the top but still heartfelt and grounded mix that Doctor Who does. Like no one does that mix.
It's like comedic. but serious.
Yeah, and then you'll have this like, especially and what I think is really well highlighted in these episodes is that mixture, because like you get straight up moments that are like creepy as hell, like straight up,
oh my gosh,
very foreboding, very like like whatever, and then you're right back into, and it doesn't come across as I've been one to knock sometimes the MCU for like, okay, we don't need a joke beat every time there's something serious or whatever. It doesn't come across that way. It just comes across as like we're moving into another thing, and that just so happens to have levity in it. It doesn't feel like it was put in there to bring down another moment. It just feels like it was moving on to the next thing. So I think these 3 episodes actually do that extremely well, especially the third. I will agree with you. It took me in the first episode, for me, just because of my unfamiliarness with the franchise overall. It took me a minute to kind of get back into the swing. But once that second and third just rocked.
No, we should talk about that. We should talk about our favorite episodes of the 3. Do you want to keep going since you're on a roll?
I mean, I got to say, I think it's the third, but I think a lot of that has to do with Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris dancing to Spice Girls? Does that have anything to do with it?
There's so much weird stuff. Also, just in the way and we'll get into that in a minute, but like the way they dealt with the new Doctor and bringing like, there was just a lot of like creativity and weirdness in that third episode that I just thought, if I had to point to an episode and go, if you want a vibe of Doctor Who and see if you'll dig it, watch that episode. And if you don't like it, well, then you're probably not gonna dig Doctor Who.
Yeah, like I feel like the like long-term fans, especially from like the new series, because when new people are like, I want to get into Doctor Who, where do I start? You always kind of have that one. I feel like Whovians, we have like one episode where we're like, start with this one. If you like it, keep going. If you don't, like, you're not going to be able to stomach the rest. And that's actually a good for the 3. I guess the third one really rocks it out. But I will say this. I actually liked Wild Blue Yonder the best. I liked episode 2 the best because it felt the most Doctor Who-y to me. It was just weird and creepy and simplistic. It wasn't too much going on. There wasn't even a big story. It was just really great acting, fun special effects, actually like terrifying at times. My favorite episode ever is The Library. And that's a David Tennant episode. It's okay if you don't know what I'm talking about, but if you do, you do. And so it just kind of gave me those same like heebie-jeebies, like, oh my gosh, this is like so creepy. And also just seeing these 2 actors, Catherine Tate and David Tennant, like in their zone doing that. It was really awesome to see them acting together and across from one another and across from themselves. It was just wild. Jamie, what was your favorite episode?
I'm actually going to pick the first one. I really liked the Star Beast.
You're so well-rounded.
It might be just because, like, that one is based on a Doctor Who comic book story by wildly, Pat Mills, who's a British comics legend, and Dave Gibbons of Watchmen, Dave Gibbons, which is so wild to think about. And I had went back and read that story before the episode to see what it was all about, and it was so good. So part of the joy of that first episode was just seeing them realize it. And Beat the Meep is so the special effects for that creature are so wild, how it goes from so cute to just not just sinister, but like, I'm gonna eat your face evil.
It's like furry
on the turn of the
Grogu
dime. It feels like the anti-Baby Yoda. Because every Star Wars show or whatever needs a marketable little plushie thing. Yeah. And they're like, here's ours, but evil. I really loved that. And I had a lot of fun with that episode.
It was also like so rewarding that like in the end you see that all of her art was actually all of the villains and stories for all of the OG Doctor Who peeps. Like we see references to all of Donna's previous adventures, which was really cool. If you didn't notice that, you can go back and look at some stills, and all of those little dolls that Rose was making, those were all villains that Donna had combated over her journey.
Also, finally, Russell gets to like the one thing people didn't like from his previous run was Donna's ending, and now we get to come back and like give her a happier one. So there's that as well.
I was like, I was one of those people that just went on and on and on about Donna's ending. I was so annoying. Okay, I know our time is short, so I'm going to keep it rocking. what did you guys think of this David Tennant iteration? And we'll wait. Well, I was going to say let's talk about the new one, but let's start with David Tennant. How did you feel about David Tennant, Jamie? We'll start with you.
I liked that this version felt a little different. He wasn't just the 10th Doctor again. It felt like it was David Tennant, but he still incorporated all of the like additional trauma / additional development and healing that the Doctors after him did. And so in that way, it feels like a nice bow on top of the whole Doctor Who past several Doctors, especially with the way it ends the bi-generation. It feels like, okay, this era of Doctor Who that Russell T Davies started previously, this is the ending all summed up in this one new David Tennant Doctor. And now we've made room for something fresh, minus most of that baggage. And I like how David Tennant performed that. It felt like a more mature version of his Doctor.
Yeah, less temper tantrums.
Less going mad with power and potentially destroying everything. A little bit.
Matt, I know that this is probably your most familiar Doctor. Did you feel like the same, like the sense that this is the same Doctor, or were you kind of like, oh, he's changed a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's funny. Because I agree with Jamie. I like that they didn't, and also from a mythology standpoint too, right? Like I actually like that they said like, yeah, it's the same Doctor, but it's not. We're not plucking him like exactly out of time. There's no growth there. It's just like he felt like a modern Doctor. You could have easily seen, if we didn't already know about the next Doctor, you could have easily seen someone taking that and going, oh, we're just going to get him for like another couple seasons because there's all that growth there. There's a lot to learn, and I thought that played into how, you know, I'm not as familiar with like you know, some of the like blowback, I guess, against her ending and stuff like that. And so, and the same way with like him, like how it was reacted, how people reacted to his ending and like, you know, the next Doctor and stuff like that. So for me, it kind of, it just felt like a really great bow to be wrapped on. I took this as her ending and I took this as his ending. And again, it was just kind of the way that third episode plays out. There are some genuine moments like, oh, like stuff's gonna like really go down. Like you could really lose some people. They threaded that line really well. And so then when you get the warm and fuzzy ending at the end, like it just feels like a wonderful bow on top of those two. Like their two stories are so intricately connected here. I really enjoyed him, and I did come away going, maybe I need to go back and like I watched that whole that whole run because I've always heard about him. I know he's, if not the one of the most well-liked and beloved Doctors. And I always understood why, because like David Tennant's fantastic and like everything he's in. So I always got it. But like it's just now this has made me kind of want to go back into the archive a little bit and maybe suss out like what about all that stuff connected, you know?
You might be surprised, or maybe not surprised. He was literally voted the favorite Doctor in a poll, but there are so many people who think they're Doctor Who fans and then realize I actually just like David Tennant and don't care about any episode he's not in. It's fun.
Yeah. When I knew I was I really loved Doctor Who when I was like, okay, I'm madly in love with Matt Smith as well. Like it was hard for me to choose between the two, but I think the thing that I always loved the most about Tennant in general, like him as an actor, is how big of a fan he is of Doctor Who anyways. Like it would be like it's like Miss Marvel. It's like a super fan playing Doctor Who, right? Like a super Doctor Who fan playing the role. And like that is so rewarding. And you just gotta love it. And that's why he keeps coming back. He's like, I don't care, I'm coming back. Like I'll come back as many times as you want me to. I love it. Like there's footage of him running around the set with his daughter, which is so cute.
Oh, that's adorable.
And yeah, so I will say this, David Tennant, or I guess 10 or 14. I don't know if we're supposed to call him 10 or 14 because he was the 10th Doctor and the 14th now. He did say a few times that I love my companions. Like he said, I love Donna and I love her grandfather. And that he even was shocked himself. He was like, wait, do I do this now? Do I openly like say I love people? Because that's not something that the Doctor ever really did in the past. He always tried to keep at least a little bit of distance to protect himself and his own emotions and also to protect them from being in love with him too, not in a romantic way, but just like truly loving. And that was really powerful for me when I went back and rewatched these episodes to see him kind of have that realization. I think Jodie's doctor softened him. I really do, because she allowed the love in her story. So that was like a cool nod to me about that. Okay. Initial reactions to our new doctor. And please help me if I'm saying this wrong. I think it's Nakuti Gatwa. I hope I'm saying it right.
Shooty.
Oh, Shooty. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Thank God we have our expert here, because I'm like, I don't know. What did you guys think? I was nervous. I'll just throw it out really quick. I was really nervous because I love I love David Tennant, and I wanted him to stay forever. And that I'm wearing a shirt. I love him. I was so pleasantly surprised, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's got. Jamie, what do you think?
He's only on the screen for a few minutes, but, he holds his own with David Tennant, which isn't easy, especially when this is like, David Tennant's home court, so to speak. And, Russell T. Davies has talked about they cast Neil Patrick Harris because who do you get to play opposite David Tennant? So that speaks to his ability and his presence. And, he comes off as having a lot of confidence and vigor and excitement and enthusiasm, which are all really, really important. I love in the trailer for the Christmas special, apparently he meets his new companion while he's out clubbing. Which definitely feels like a new, we've seen Doctor Who do a lot of things and be that enthusiastic version of himself in different ways, but that feels like a spin that's got the essentials, but is still new and different. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I immediately felt like, that's the Doctor. Like, it felt natural for him to be taking over where they left off. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else he brings.
Matt?
It's funny that Jamie mentions the club thing, because I got Shepard meets his crew vibes from that. It's very Mass Effect and it's vibe, which is great because I adore Mass Effect, so I will always be up for something like that. I just love the way he's introduced. I thought that was so out of nowhere for me.
No pants.
And yeah, it was just like, oh hey, pool. And then that whole sequence, I was like, what? It's just, I thought that was such a unique, it automatically puts him in a different space, because you're just so shocked by the fact that number one, okay, we have two doctors at the same time. Number two, okay, it goes into all this other mythology stuff, but then it's just the wow factor from there. He's put on equal footing. It was a way to introduce him in the moment, and you're swept up in what they have to do, and you automatically see them as equals. Mm-hmm. And it just puts them in that space. You're not, oh, well, I got a lot to prove. I got big shoes to fill. Yes, we'll get to that stuff, I'm sure. But this was just a really interesting way to hit the ground running, and I really dug it. I just came in already okay, I'm in. This dude has the vibe. I can get behind that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, the way they do it too. He definitely feels like the Doctor sending David Tennant off by giving him the TARDIS as a present, as opposed to him being the guest star in David Tennant.
Right, exactly.
That's what I was thinking, Big Brother vibes. It felt like a big brother taking care of his little brother and going peace out.
When he hugs him, it's so sweet.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I'm just going to skip our rundown, but do you guys think that David Tennant will ever come back? Because I feel like they left that door open now.
To quote Brandy, never say never.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't park him there without plans to have him come back at some point. It's got to be they can't do it often or frequently. It's got to be a break glass in case of emergency thing. But I do think so. I also think he's done a bunch of the audio stories and stuff. And I like that they just have this spare doctor around that they can throw into the tie-in media and stuff. That's fun to me. But yeah, I expect he'll be back eventually.
Yeah. I feel bad for Martha, because she's the only one of David Tennant's companions that didn't get a version of him somewhere. I mean, that's going over all over the internet. But yeah, I understand that. That kind of sucks. Moving on to the Toymaker. I feel like we have to touch on this because it was a really awesome moment before we head out. Really quick reactions. Neil Patrick Harris as the Toymaker. What did you guys think, Matt?
Oh, he was amazing. I mean, look, I love Neil Patrick Harris, period. I think he's been pretty much great in everything. but he was so what you want a villain to be. And it felt like it was a nemesis type thing. Like it really felt like this person, for all intents and purposes, could be a person that took Tennant out and took things out, even though the plan was like, ridiculously grand and but it was, I don't know, it felt so perfect. I dug him.
The accents were so good. Jamie, what'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. It was 100% Neil Patrick Harris just being as campy as they would allow, which with Russell T Davies is very campy. He fits very snugly in it's a familiar kind of character, right? He reminds me of John Delancey's Q in Star Trek The Next Generation, or if you want to go to the comics, he's essentially Mr. Mxyzptlk from Superman. Yeah. But it's great having him do that. It's like he was born to do that kind of ridiculous thing. I mean, he's a singing, dancing magician actor. This is a role that was basically built for him, and I think he nailed it. He did great.
I wonder if we will get Toymaker back, because he is celestial. We know he's not gone. He's just somewhere else. Because I would love to see Neil Patrick Harris face off again with our new Doctor. So that's what I'm hoping for. Last guest sentence from each of us. How excited are you for the new season? And I guess, what are your expectations? We'll start with Jamie. Yeah.
Very excited. I'm expecting, they're, at least internally, they said they're referring to this as like season 1 now that it's on Disney Plus. So I'm expecting it to be a really fresh start to the series that builds something new. And I'm looking forward to that because, like I said, the last few years have been a little bit slow. So let's inject some of that Russell T Davies energy into it.
I love that. Matt, what are you hoping for or expecting?
Well, I honestly, something that is, if this was the vibe we're going for, like, the type of way they have comedy playing throughout it and some of the embracing of the like Doctor Who aspects, but maybe tweaking things for like an audience who like isn't as familiar with some of the lore and stuff. It seems like it's perfect for me. Like, it seems like this next thing is like the one that I won't make the same mistake, and I'm jumping on from the beginning on this one. So I'm hoping that like it can get people like me kind of back into it. I don't have to necessarily be as familiar with all of the continuity, but I do love that they're still like holding on to that. Like, it's not going anywhere, but like they're just kind of changing up how it's delivered. And so for me, that's great because this gives me a clean hopping on point. So I'm excited for it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to just experience Doctor Who in an accessible way as an American. Disney Plus, shout out to Disney Plus. Thank you so much for not making me buy like any weird cable packages to try to get to my favorite show. I definitely will always be here for anyone who wants to chat about Doctor Who. I'm always a Whovian. Jamie, please let us know your socials so people can find you.
Yeah, I'm at Jamie Lovett on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, and pretty much every place else that you think to find me.
Matt, where can they find you?
I am at Matt Aguilar CB on Threads.
Threads.
I love myself some Threads. Dang it.
Yes, we got a Thread fan. Okay, and you guys know me. I'm at Janelle on Twitter or on Twitch, and Janelle Wheeler on Twitter and all the things. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is short and sweet, but we will always be around for more conversations. Make sure to tune into our regular podcast. We're going to be live on Friday. And of course, thank you for being a fan of Doctor Who and all things geeky with us. Have a great day and go Doctor Who.
Woohoo!